Hi everyone, welcome to Lewis on Cars. Parked behind me is my 2018 Suzuki Vitara, which I have owned since April this year. It's the sporty S model, which means you've got the silver wing mirror caps, the red halo in the headlights, as well as splashes of red accents throughout the interior, not to mention the excellent 1.4 litre booster jet engine. But more on that later. In my ownership, I have covered almost 7,000 miles, going back and forth to work, visiting friends and family, using it to do tip runs, and even cart about enough half-empty bottles of water to become an ambassador for Evian. So after 8 months, what has the Vitara been like to live with? Suzukis aren't perhaps best known for paint quality. The panels appear as if someone has inhaled paint required and sneezed it across the car as a form of abstract art. Almost every panel is chipped and scratched to varying degrees, although it's not helped by the fact it's red. And as history tells us, red cars are prone to fading. The term Vauxhall Racing Pink, other car brands are available, wasn't coined for nothing. On the plus side, it's a light and bright colour, which is something we desperately need more of nowadays, and something that Suzuki has recognised. And this car also features a contrasting black roof, which, on the S model of this age, is a rare option. It's also fairly easy to keep clean, aside from the winter muck, providing the seagulls hold off on their high altitude deliveries, otherwise known as bird shit. For a car which is shorter in length than the Ford Focus, space in the back is pretty ample, and access getting in is fairly good, thanks to these doors, which open and close. On several occasions, I managed to fit 3 people across this back seat without any complaints at all, although taller drivers than me might struggle slightly, but you can always chop your knees off. Boot space is also ample. There's more boot space in here than in cars like the Vauxhall Astra and the Ford Focus, but a little bit less than equivalent SUVs of this type. Even so, I've still managed to fit guitars, amplifiers, TVs, lawnmowers, bowling bags in here without any issues at all. The rear seats fold relatively flat, there's no load lip, and the sill height isn't too high off the ground if you did need to lift heavier items into the boot. Just watch out for the boot struts though. They can become quite weak, and if you're not careful, you could end up with a sore head. Regardless of age or trim level, the Vitara has all the technology you could ever need and nothing you don't want. Except for perhaps the radar braking, which is stupidly sensitive and gives you heart attacks every time it goes off. Thankfully, there is a button you can use to turn it off if you value your sanity like I do. Elsewhere in this one, you've got front and rear parking sensors teamed with a rear view camera, climate control, cruise control and Apple CarPlay, which I do advise you use over Suzuki's standard infotainment system, which isn't the best. Behind the wheel, it behaves just like an ordinary family hatch, but because it's an SUV and you've got that elevated driving position, you've got excellent visibility all round and it has a really comfortable ride. At launch in early 2015, you had a choice of 1.6 litre petrol and diesel units, and this 1.4 litre turbo unit, dubbed booster jet, came later that year and exclusively for the S trim level. This engine is by far the best. It's so good that not only did I buy this car for the engine, but it also replaced the 1.6 litre petrol after its first facelift in 2018, and then it eventually ended up becoming the staple of the entire model range, evolving into the mild hybrid engine for the latest model. 5 and 6 speed manuals as well as various automatic gearboxes were available throughout its life, but the 6-speed manual is best suited to the Vitara. The gear changes are positive, accurate and engaging, although getting into reverse gear can be a challenge at times. The S also came with Suzuki's famed ball grip system, which boosts confidence in slippery conditions like the ones we've been having today. which is an absolute godsend. Not only that, but it also has a sport mode, which makes safe overtaking a breeze. Oh, and it's so fun. Oh, I'm so naughty. In 8 months, I've not had to spend anything in repairs. Being a Suzuki, it has been effortlessly reliable. The only thing to mention is a squeak from the rear brakes when reversing, which is a common Vitara weak point. Insurance and servicing costs are reasonable, whilst a full tank of fuel in this car costs about £50, which lasts 2 weeks if you're sensible, and about 2 minutes if you're not. But overall, owning and running a Vitara has been a pain-free experience. If you're after a reliable, sensible sized car that's fun to drive, easy to use, has the capability of going off the beaten track once in a while, and you're not too worried about the cosmetics, then the Suzuki Vitara is the ultimate daily hack for everyday life. Sure, it's not as stylish as an Alfa Romeo or as well finished as a Volkswagen, but in my experience, it's all the car you could ever need.